Welcome to Wallace and Wire. Today, we're talking about Wong Ko's sharp condemnation of the proposed alcohol ban on Malaysia Airlines.
Yeah, it's definitely caused quite a stir. This isn't just about, drinks on a plane.
Not at all. It seems the past MP for Hulu Selangor, Hasni, specifically demanded the Ministry of Transport stop Malaysia Airlines serving alcohol.
That's the core of it.
Yeah.
And then Datuk Seri Wong, who's the senior vice chairman of the Sarawak People's Aspiration Party, he came out really, really strong against it.
Extremely strong. He didn't just disagree. He basically framed it as a clash between, well, national economics and religious politics.
Right. It's being positioned as like a fundamental threat. So
Ah.
I think what we need to do is unpack why. Why does a senior figure from Sarawak see this specific proposal as potentially crippling for Malaysia Airlines and, damaging to the country's whole economic reputation?
The stakes seem incredibly high. We're talking potentially millions of ringgit, aren't we?
Could easily be. Hundreds of millions possibly when you factor in long-term impact on brand and competitiveness.
Okay, let's dive into his reaction first. The language he used was, well, it was blunt. He called the MP's proposal ignorant and short-sighted.
Yeah, ignorant and short-sighted. That's about as direct as you can get in politics, isn't it? It's pretty scathing language.
Especially considering his usual measured tone. So what's behind that intensity? Is it purely the financial aspect for Malaysia Airlines?
Well, that's a huge part of it. You have to remember where Malaysia Airlines has been. The massive financial problems, the bailouts, the restructuring after 2014. It's been a really tough decade for them.
They've spent years just trying to get back on stable ground, billions of ringgit involved in those efforts.
Exactly. So from Wong Ko's perspective, the airline is still, recovering. It's vulnerable,
And this proposal comes along.
right? When they're trying to rebuild international confidence. He used that phrase, didn't he? Kicking them when they are down.
That paints a pretty clear picture. It suggests this isn't just bad timing, it's actively harmful when they're trying to compete.
Precisely. It's like saying, okay, go compete globally, but we're tying one hand behind your back. And he didn't just limit the damage to the airline itself.
No, he brought it right back to the everyday Malaysian, the rakyat. That quote was powerful. Don't harm the country. Don't harm Malaysia Airlines. Don't harm the people.
And that connects directly to his argument about who ultimately pays the price for, well, let's call it poor policy decisions.
His point being that if the economy takes a hit because of moves like this, driving away business,
It's not the politicians who feel the pinch directly. It's the average person. The rakyat pay the price, as he put it. The national economy weakens. Maybe the government needs to find revenue elsewhere.
potentially relying more heavily on, say, natural resources to plug the gaps.
That's the concern he raised, that if we keep making choices that undermine our modern competitive sectors like aviation, tourism, we risk becoming, too dependent on commodities just to keep things afloat. It's framed as a step backward, essentially.
Okay, that makes sense regarding the national economic picture. But he also drilled down into the specifics of the airline business itself, didn't he? The competitive landscape.
Oh, absolutely. He got very practical. He basically said, look, Malaysia Airlines isn't operating in a vacuum. It's up against the best in the world.
He named names, too. Singapore Airlines, Emirates, Qatar Airways, all Nippon Airways.
The top-tier carriers. And his point was, these are the airlines setting the global standard. They all offer a completely comprehensive, full-service experience.
And for those premium passengers, the business class, the first class flyers, that full service includes alcoholic beverages. Is that the specific worry, losing those high-value customers?
That's exactly it. When he mentions lucrative business travelers,
Yeah.
he's talking about the passengers who pay significantly more, the ones who drive profitability. They expect certain things.
They expect the same service they get on Emirates or Singapore Airlines.
Right. So if Malaysia Airlines suddenly says, nope, we don't offer that anymore, it's not just a minor inconvenience for some of those travelers. It gives them a very clear, practical reason to book with a competitor next time.
Especially for international routes or connecting flights. It becomes a business decision for them, not a moral one.
Precisely. Wong Ko emphasized that Malaysia Airlines serves a global clientele, people from all sorts of backgrounds, faiths, countries. They expect a global standard.
So implementing this ban, in his view, would immediately, damage revenue?
Yes, severely. He argues it destroys their competitive edge, particularly in that vital premium market. You lose those high-yield passengers, your revenue takes a direct hit. And given, as we said, that Malaysia Airlines isn't exactly swimming in cash.
It's a self-inflicted wound they really can't afford.
That's his argument. It's economic self-harm, driven by politics, not business sense. alienating a key customer base that expects international service standards.
It's a compelling business case. But just to play devil's advocate for a second, what's the argument for the ban? From the perspective of the PAS MP proposing it, is it purely about religious adherence?
Well, that's generally how it's framed. The argument often put forward is about upholding national values
Hmm.
or religious principles in state-linked entities. From that viewpoint, the potential economic cost might be seen as secondary to a perceived moral or religious obligation.
A matter of national dignity, perhaps, aligned with certain interpretations of faith?
That's likely the ideological justification. But it's a trade-off that Wong Sun-ko flatly rejects. And that's where his argument shifted quite dramatically from the purely economic to the deeply political.
He issued a pretty stark warning, didn't he? Aimed squarely at PAS.
He did. He laid down a marker, especially speaking as a prominent leader from Sarawak. He basically said, if PAS wants to be a serious governing partner in a modern, diverse Malaysia.
They need to step back from this kind of religious politicking.
Exactly. They have to abandon trying to impose narrow religious rules onto broader national policy and the economy. He called it the bottom line for non-Muslims, particularly highlighting Sarawak's perspective.
Sarawak has always fiercely guarded its secular space within Malaysia, hasn't it?
Very much so. It's a core part of their identity within the Federation. So this is Wong Sun-ko signaling that pushing this type of policy will hit serious resistance from coalition partners who prioritize, secular governance and economic pragmatism.
He then took it a step further, questioning the whole direction of the country if this approach prevails. He asked that rhetorical question.
Yeah, about progress. How can the nation move forward? How can it compete globally if every economic policy, aviation, tourism, foreign investment has to first pass some kind of religious litmus test?
A test defined by one specific group's interpretation.
Right. His argument is that this path sacrifices vital national interests, the airline, tourism, investment appeal, the country's image, just to satisfy certain political demands. It's a fundamental clash over how Malaysia should be governed.
And he concluded by addressing the motivation behind the proposal itself. He drew a distinction between genuine faith and political maneuvering.
Yes, he suggested that most Malaysian Muslims understand that faith is personal. It's about cultivation, not a political weapon.
He essentially accused the MP proposing the ban of using religion.
Of using religion to stir emotions, create division, maybe score political points. That was the implication. He was quite blunt, saying non-Muslims reject being morally blackmailed or having interference in their lifestyles disguised as piety.
Strong words. He's framing it as political opportunism rather than genuine religious concern.
That's certainly the accusation, that it's using the language of religious dignity for political ends, potentially harming the nation in the process.
So wrapping this up, this whole incident really throws a spotlight on a core tension, doesn't it? It's this choice between, on one hand, applying policies based on specific religious interpretations, and on the other, ensuring the economic health and global competitiveness of a major national asset like Malaysia Airlines.
It really crystallizes that conflict. And it forces you, the observer, to think about the bigger picture. What's the real cost here? Not just the immediate financial hit in ringgit, but the cost to Malaysia's international image. How do global investors, tourists, business partners view this kind of debate?
Does it signal stability and pragmatism or something else?
Exactly. When political moves seem to prioritize perhaps internal positioning or ideology over clear economic stability and competitiveness, what message does that send? And crucially, what precedent does this set for future decisions affecting other vital parts of the Malaysian economy? It's a lot to consider.
Remember to like and subscribe for more videos like this.